Hola, hope you're all having a great Thursday morning and ready for the weekend. Today is Friday Eve, and I know everybody's sort of in that mode. But I wanted to share a little something that happened with me. And I always say it that we learn more from our children, and now for myself, from our grandchildren, than we do from just about anything else. I was at the park last week with Chloe. And we tend to go to the park every time she's here. We'll walk over. And Chloe's very good at socializing. She's very quick to make friends. If somebody's there, she'll offer to help them with something or offer to push them or on a swing or anything. And she started playing around with this girl. She was about 8 years old. I was talking to her mom. And there's this, they redid the park in our neighborhood, one of the parks, and there's this giant web, and you have to climb to the top, but it's sort of for older kids. So Chloe's jumping on there, getting up there, and the girl says, "What are you going to do if you get to the top?" And she goes, "Well, I'm going to climb on that thing and I'm going to walk on it." And Chloe's a little bit of an adventurer, so she tends to do things that are sort of out of the box. And the girl told her that's impossible. And I overheard Chloe say, "Nothing is impossible." "What do you mean that's impossible?" "It's not impossible." And it sort of hit me because I know that that's just the world that she lives in. Her parents do not allow the words "I can't" very often to come out of her mouth. She doesn't live in a world of impossibility. In fact, she lives in a world where just about everything is possible. Hola, Mario. And I love that she said that out loud because the girl, she was sort of taken aback, didn't really understand that how can this 5-year-old think that nothing is impossible. And the truth is that that's our default, I think, as children, and we're born with limitless possibilities, and we're born with not accepting that anything is impossible. The impossibility factor comes in as we start being fed these fears and these limiting beliefs and things of that nature. I know you've heard me talk about that before. But this reminded me, and my dear friend Tahiri had a post yesterday on Facebook. It was a quote by St. Francis that says, "Start by doing what is necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible." And that really is how it is. You start sort of stretching beyond that comfort zone little by little by little, and before you know it, you're daring to do something that at one time you may have felt was impossible. And I did some research on a workshop that I have coming up in January, but I was reading about Roger Bannister. And for those of you who don't know, Roger Bannister is the man who broke the 4-minute mile, the first one to do it. Now, this was back in 1959, and before that had happened, scientists, coaches, I mean, everyone in the world said it was humanly impossible. The human body was just not equipped to be able to run where they could break a 4-minute mile. So Roger Bannister, who was an athlete and was a runner, had convinced himself and decided that he was going to break that barrier. And in his training, and they interviewed him after the fact, and he says that when he would train as if, hey, sugar, he would train as if his body and his mind were already crossing that finish line to finish that mile in under 4 minutes. He would program his mind to think how his body would feel, how his leg would feel, and he really trained preparing himself with the complete vision and focus on breaking the barrier of that 4-minute mile. So naturally, he did. He ran the mile in 3 minutes and 59 point something seconds. And it was all this hoopla and everything that it was just something that seemed so impossible, and he was able to do it. But the interesting thing was that within a year, 23 other athletes had been able to complete that mile in under 4 minutes and broke his record almost in no time. And now it's just normal. Even athletes in high school and at the college level that are training to run that mile in under 4 minutes, it's just become the norm. It's been done and duplicated over and over again. And the reason that I love that story is because what happened was that as soon as someone proved that that impossibility was not in fact true, everybody let down their guard and figured, okay, now I can do it. So what does that tell you about impossibility? I feel that once you deem something impossible, it becomes impossible. Once you say out loud that something is impossible, you make it impossible for yourself. You make it real because in your mind, you've already set that limit. And I'm glad that Jocelyn is on. We were having a conversation yesterday about how people have this box and they live in whatever box they're in. But very often, these people that are accomplishing great things, there is no box. It's not that they have a huge box, it's that they have no box at all. There are no barriers, no limitations. So I want to invite you to remove that word from your vocabulary. Remove it in the conversations that you're having with your children. Replace it with the ability to think that yes, something is possible, even if by default, because of our limiting beliefs, we have instinctually we're going to jump to, oh, that's impossible. I want you to embrace the discomfort of not going there and thinking, what if it were possible? Because the minute that you invite that little crack in the window of possibility, it becomes possible. And I've proven this to myself over and over again with myself, with my own limitations that used to exist, that just I've done things that have made things that at one time seemed impossible become possible. They didn't start to seem possible, they actually became possible the minute that I made that little switch in my mind. So that's my invitation for you today. It's not my invitation, it's Chloe's invitation. We will take it from that. People, you with little ones, they are living in a world of possibility. Don't, box them into believing that things are impossible. Let them believe that everything is possible. Let them believe that, see you Saturday, Mario. Let them believe that possibility exists and that possibility is a beautiful thing and it's a beautiful world to exist in, okay? So pray you have a great rest of your Thursday. Tahiti, see you in a little bit. And have a great weekend, all.